even when I'm down. Got my head in the clouds and my feet on the ground. I got big dreams, gonna make them true. Yes, we got big dreams here at the Genius Lab, where we help you realize your greatness. Toby Christensen here, your self-empowerment trainer. And today we're going to talk about owning your shit and inventorying your own shit. One of the things that's really challenging to do sometimes is to take a good, clear look at what the fuck is going on in our lives. I mean, maybe you're making a ton of money and you're meeting your financial goals and you have a happy family, and maybe you just purchased your new dream car that you've been thinking about for the last 10 years, or you found the love of your life and you have this fantastic relationship and you just lost 50 pounds and, like everything's awesome, right? And then, oh yeah, and you're enlightened, right? So, and then maybe like the thing that's most important to you is just fucked up and you can't seem, no matter what you've got going on good, there's always a fly in the ointment, So the thing that's really important is to inventory the shit so that you can, and I don't mean just the shit, like the shit. I mean, sometimes just like stuff. You just want to know where you're at. And the first reason why I think it's so important, and I always start with what's going well, is because that creates gratitude. And gratitude is a really fucking powerful energy, okay? Gratitude creates more things for you to be grateful for. Just for fun, I Googled the word gratitude and I got 154 million results. I mean, is that just insane or what? My favorite definition of gratitude is this, and I will read it here. The quality of being thankful. The readiness to show appreciation for and return kindness. I'm going to read it again. The quality of being thankful. The readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. I just love this. I think it's a great definition, and that's the kind of energy I want in my life. And the more you read that definition, or listen to it in this case, because you're listening to my podcast, you're not reading my book, but you can order it at tobychristensen.com. On the opening page, on the homepage, there's a link right below the video. You can click on it and order a book and get to work on this. So, so whatever your focus is, gratitude is the energy that helps make things better. Okay. And it creates more good stuff. All right. So, but even some of the things, and in our Facebook world that we live in, where everything is happy, joy, wonderful, yippity skippity and with extra frosting on top, we don't see a lot of the shit that happens in people's lives. We see all the good and the wonderful and so on and so forth. But, sometimes even the stuff that hurts, even the painful shit can be helpful, and you can find gratitude for it. And my favorite story is about this. Years ago, I had this girlfriend. And I thought I was absolutely in love. Actually, I was like emotionally addicted. And so one day she just out of the blue broke up with me, and I was absolutely devastated. But shortly thereafter, I realized that there was an anxiety and a pressure that I'd been feeling for the year or two that we went out, and it was gone. As soon as she was gone, it was gone. And I'm like, holy fuck, this is great. That wasn't good for me at all. And I was so grateful. It hurt in terms of there were certain aspects that were fulfilled in that relationship. I felt very nurtured in many ways. And then when it was gone, the nurturing was gone, but so was that fucked up feeling of walking on eggshells. So on one hand, it sucked. On the other hand, it was really great. And so the thing that I learned was that sometimes even the painful things create reasons to be grateful.
Okay? So one of the things that, getting back to our original subject is inventorying your shit, owning your shit. And that, what I would recommend is that you go through different areas of your life and look at what is working and what is not working. What do you want to keep? What do you want to throw away? If it's not working and you want to keep it, how do you fix it? Okay? Or how do you shift the energy on it so that it accommodates your desired outcomes? And so, and then if you don't want to keep it anymore, how are you going to get rid of it and what are you going to do with that energy? And then what are you going to replace it with? Remember the other day we talked about habits, how you can't just stop doing something. You have to replace that behavior with something else. So I'm going to give you some categories to think about. And some of you might use all of these categories. Some of you may use just a few of them. I don't use every one of these myself, but I think that they're worth mentioning. So the first thing, of course, is health and fitness. It's that's a given for almost everybody. Like, how much do you want to weigh? What kind of physical condition do you want to be in? I have some goals, a certain weight that I want to be. I want to max out at 185. So if I'm fluctuating between 180 and 185, that's a good fighting weight for me. And 6'1", 185. Boom. It's for my build, it's perfect. And I feel really good that way. The other thing that I want to do is I want to be able to run 5 miles without stopping at about a 9-minute pace. I know that's really slow for some of you. Back in my day, I was running 6:15s, but not today. If I can get 5 miles out effortlessly at a 9-minute pace, I'm really feeling like I'm physically fit. And of course, quick recovery and so on and so forth. Every day, what I'm doing now is, which is one of my goals that I want to do, is 100 push-ups a day and 500 ab exercises a day. Keeps everything tightened up nicely, and it's a measure of fitness for me. Another thing is, so I'll move on. Intellectual life. Do you want to read a book a month or do you want to read a book a week? What do you want to learn? What workshops do you want to go to? Release your shit and reclaim your power. On the island of Kauai is a great workshop to go to. If I do say so myself, you can go to tobychristensen.com and find that. And I would love to see you there. But what seminars and workshops do you want to attend? Think about that. How are you going to increase your intellectual life? A lot of us, once we get out of school, we quit working on that aspect of our life, and I think it's really important. What about your character and personal development? What's up there? What are your core values? What are your core beliefs? What's your mission? These are important things to think about, and they apply in every aspect of your life. Wouldn't it be interesting if you're doing a resume and you start your cover letter with what your core values are, and then, ask the person that's interviewing, what are the company's core values that I'm coming to work for? Freak them out. Okay, how about your spiritual life? Your connection to higher power, God, whatever that is for you. And what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to go to church every Sunday, or do you have a shrine at your house that you meditate with or in front of every day? Just what does your spiritual life look like, and is it working or not working? Your love relationship, that goes without saying, who do you want to be with? If you're with someone and things are a little rough, what's going to make it better? If you have kids, parenting is another aspect of your life that's important to pay attention to. And, this is one that I see left behind a lot, and that is social life. Like, what kind of friends do you want to have? We sort of stumble into friends, like who's in our neighborhood, who do we work with? Or who do we go to school with? Those things just kind of fall into place. But if you were to strategically think about who you want to be around, who would that be? Think about that one. Design your social life with intention. Finances, of course, are pretty easy. How much money do you want to make? How much are you making? How can you make more or less or have more time? One of the things that is becoming more and more important to me is time. I want time to do my music. And you know, if it means sacrificing the Ferrari for a bunch more time, I'm going to do it. You know, I can dial back the car or dial back the house or dial back the beach house or whatever in order to have more time. Because the thing that I've noticed about a lot of my friends that have a lot of stuff and make a shit ton of money is that most of them work their ass off. Now, a lot of them really like it. That's what they love to do. But I also see them under a massive amount of stress. Most of them take sleeping pills to be able to sleep through the night. And many of them are on high blood pressure medication and are constantly going to the doctor to get better. I'm not interested in that. So for me, my financial goals have changed a lot in the last few years. Career. What's up with your career? Are you going to be a self-empowerment trainer and come to my training and help people? Are you going to work in a corporate world? Are you going to be a banker? What's your, a stockbroker, investment counselor? Who knows? I mean, I got friends that do all kinds of stuff. And what rocks your world? The thing that I would say on your career is do something that feeds your soul. That's the important part. This is a category that I have rarely seen, and I just thought it was very cool when I saw it, and that's quality of life. Like, what is the quality of your life? And I touched on it a minute ago with career. In other words, time is really important. Quality of life. How would you like your home to be, your car, your social life, all of that thing in terms of quality? What's the level of function, the level of peacefulness, the level of just overall feeling good? And this kind of ties into it. The very last category I'm going to talk about is your life of vision. Like, where do you see yourself? And how do you see yourself impacting the world? And who do you see being around, and what situations do you see being around for you to make an impact in the world and the world to make an impact on you? So the first thing that I would do is go through and look at what is working and give yourself credit for it. The thing that I think we do in this really competitive world that most of us live in is we're quick to analyze the things that we do wrong and that are not right so we can do better. And that's great. I love that. That's there's so many of the new generation, the millennials they call them, that never look or imagine they could possibly fuck anything up. They're just, it's everything is everybody else's fault and they deserve everything. And I like their idea of entitlement. I think they have a very high bar for themselves. The thing that I think that's important, and people of my generation have a tendency, like I remember when I was in the music business full time, we never evaluated how good we did. We always just focused on the mistakes and how we could make our next show better. And so, but I think it's really important, I'm learning, to acknowledge the things that are good, give yourself a pat on the back, and then look at how you can make it better. How can you raise the bar? How can you be more? How can you have a greater impact? So listen to this podcast a couple of times. Listen to those categories and see what works for you and how you can give yourself credit for what you're doing. Man, you deserve it. You deserve a pat on the back. And then look at what's not working, not as an aspect of failure, like I really fucked up and this thing is unfixable. It's okay, this thing's not working. It's kind of like an old car that starts to break down. I had this Audi A6 that I just loved. And then one day, like, the axle went out. And then like a week later, the other axle went out. I'm like, axles don't go out. I have a shit car, right? What's that Adam Sandler song, Piece of Shit Car? And for me, it was like, this thing isn't working anymore. I got to get rid of it as soon as possible. Okay? Because I realized that it wasn't working for me and it wasn't going to work within the context of how much energy I wanted to put into it. So think about that in your life. And then eradicate the things that don't serve you any longer. Propagate the things that do. and then move forward. Move forward, kick ass, and keep looking up.